Hello and good day. In this documentary, we will be talking about the provisions and violations of BP 344 in the School of Architecture, Fine Arts and Design building here in the University of San Carlos Talamban campus. Before we begin, allow me to give you a brief overview as to what exactly BP 344 is. BP 344, otherwise known as Batas Pambansa 344, an act to enhance mobility of disabled persons by requiring certain buildings, institutions, establishments, and public utilities to install facilities and other devices. In short, BP 344 is called the Accessibility Law, with its main purpose to provide the minimum requirements and standards to make buildings and facilities accessible to the disabled persons. The scope of this law covers a wide range of buildings and facilities, such as public and private buildings, streets and highways, public transport vehicles, and so on. As I've said before, we will be covering the School of Architecture, Fine Arts and Design building, or the SAFAD building, here in the University of San Carlos Talamban campus. Join me, together with my fellow groupmates Ralph, Greg, Kyle, and Ara, as we check out what the SAFAD building has followed and violated in accordance to BP 344.
As you can see here, there's no drop curb present at the lower end of the ramp. This is especially dangerous if a PWD is alone and has no one to rely on. It forces the PWD users to use more energy and strength which they should be using to maneuver. According to BP 344 Appendix A, drop curbs 1.1, changes in level walkway should be by a drop curb. This clearly violates the law and should be solved. Recommendations in this segment is to create a proper drop curb along with tactile strips to not only benefit users with wheelchairs but also blind people.
As we can see here, the ramp outside the parking lot between MR and SAFAD, which with dimension is less than the minimum requirement of 1,200mm clear width. This could be a hazard to the PWD using a wheelchair when times of emergency, since the clearance is not that wide enough for the wheelchair to pass through. Thus, establishments should be reminded to follow the minimum width clearance for ramps set by the BP 344, which states that the design of ramps should be wider than 1,200mm but not less than 3,000mm, requiring intermediate handrails on the center.
So here is an example of a correct drop curb. This is the right and convenient way of adding circulation when there is a change of elevation. Along with proper labels, it is a universal design that is convenient and efficient for not only the PWD but for everyone. It conforms to BP 344 Appendix A, drop curbs 1.1, changes in level walkway should be by a drop curb.
Tactile strips or blocks and slip-resistant treads with non-skid nosing materials are crucial to PWDs since some of their eyesight is not that clear or good anymore. In addition, slanted nosings are preferred over protruding nosings so as not to pose difficulty for people using crutches and braces, whose feet have a tendency to get caught in protruding noses. In order to help the PWD and to avoid accidents while taking the stairs, installing tactile blocks and high-contrast colored slip-resistant materials must be integrated for the stairs in accordance with BP 344.
Going up and down a ramp could be exhausting, especially as a person with disability. Carrying your weight on a wheelchair is not easy. Thus, ramps should be provided with landings for resting, maneuvering, and avoiding excessive speed. According to BP 344, Appendix A, C 2.4, the length of a ramp should not exceed 6 meters if the gradient is 1 to 12. Longer ramps, whose gradient is 1 to 12, shall be provided with landings not less than 1.5 meters. As seen in this video, the ramp length exceeds 6 meters. Furthermore, the ramp finish is smooth and quite slippery, which should cause accidents. According to BP 344 Appendix A, A 3.4, walkways should have a minimum width of 1.2 meters. And Appendix A, C 7.1, corridors shall have a minimum clear width of 1.2 meters. Waiting areas and other facilities or spaces shall not obstruct the minimum clearance requirement. This width measurement is enough to allow a wheelchair user and a walking person to use the walkway or corridor at the same time. With this, there is a clear and smooth circulation flow for both able-bodied and PWDs.
As it can be seen here, the edge of this canteen is a hazardous area as it is a long sloped edge. In accordance with BP 344, there must be railings along all edges that can serve as barriers to safely protect users from falling. Railings with a height of 900 mm are already enough, and 700 mm is recommended in the case of PWD users. It can be shown here that there is a significant gap between the road and the canteen floor line. This is considered hazardous as people can trip over without them noticing. According to BP 344, when there is a change in floor level, a curb drop must be provided to provide a smooth flow along the passageway.
As you can see here, the sidewalk doesn't connect to the existing walkway. What's more is that it has a change of elevation, which is about 0.25 meters, higher than the carriageway. It is not convenient for PWDs and is an obstruction of pedestrian circulation. According to BP 344 Appendix A, drop curbs 1.2, drop curbs should be provided at pedestrian crossings and at the end of walkways of a private street or access road. This could be solved by smoothly connecting the sidewalk or adding a ramp or drop curb that connects to the existing pathway along with guide rails since the sidewalk is sloping.
It can be seen here that the ramp is a main access point to the building, yet it does not have any railings. This can be dangerous as in the case of PWD users, accidents may happen where they have no railing to support on. In accordance with BP 344, all ramps or stairs must have railings on both sides to support.
In nomine Padre Spiritus Sancti.